Hello students, welcome to class. Quickly today we want to look at animal health, and under that we are looking at bacterial diseases. Now I want to identify animals affected, we want to examine the causal organism, we want to discuss the symptoms and then methods of transmission and control. Now the first disease we are going to look at under bacterial disease is anthrax. Now, animals affected, we have the cattle, sheep, goats, and pigs. Now, the causal organism is a bacterium called Bacillus anthracis. Let's quickly look at the symptoms. We have high fever, we have depression, blood will begin to come out from natural orifice of the animal, like the nose, the mouth, and then from the anus. The next one is method of transmission. How does the animal come in contact with anthrax? From contaminated feed, contaminated water, contaminated equipment, and infected animals. Now, how do you control anthrax? Number one, regular vaccination. You vaccinate the animals regularly. Now, proper sanitation. We've talked about this over and over again. I told you that not because they are animals, you will not take care of them properly. So you make sure you sanitize the environment, you wash their feeders and their drinkers. Now, also you isolate infected animals. The moment you begin to notice all the symptoms from the animal, the best thing for you to do is to take that animal out of the flock. Now, let's look at the second disease. Now, the second one is brucellosis, or contagious abortion. Now, animals affected, we have the pigs, cattle, sheep, and goats. Now, majorly the female cattle, the female pig, the female sheep, and the female goats. Now, from that word contagious abortion, it affects only the female animals. Now, let's look at the causal organism. It's a bacterium called Brucella abolus, or Brucella species. Now, let's look at the symptoms quickly. We have high fever, premature abortion, stillbirth, okay, retention of the afterbirth. Now the placenta will refuse to come. I talked to you about a particular sore that we had in the farm some time ago, okay. Now let's look at method of transmission. Now, through contaminated feed, contaminated water, and through infected animal. Now, how do you control this? You make sure you sanitize the environment, you wash their feeders and their drinkers, regular vaccination, and then you isolate the animal affected. Now let's look at the third one, which is what? Tuberculosis. Now, animals affected, we have the cattle, poultry, birds, pig, and sheep. All the animals, all your farm animals. Now, let's look at the causal organism. Now, it is caused by a bacterium called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Symptoms quickly: difficult breathing, laborious breathing, okay, constant coughing, the animal will be coughing constantly, emaciation because of the constant coughing, the animal will not be able to eat well, loss of appetite, and then it will reduce the weight of the animal. Now, method of transmission. Now, through inhaling of hair contaminated with germs. Now, contact with contaminated droppings, okay, maybe the feces, the urine, the spit, or the saliva from the animals, okay? Now, how do you control this? You vaccinate your animals, you make sure you sanitize the environment, you quickly isolate the infected animal, and then you slaughter them. I'm going to tell you why you need to do this now. Now, in conclusion, some of the bacterial diseases are zoonotic. Now, what is the meaning of that? Now, these zoonotic diseases are diseases that can be transmitted from animals to humans and from humans to animals. So that means you can contact anthrax, you can contact tuberculosis from your animals, and your animals can contact it from you. Now, so it's a very deadly disease. The bacterial diseases of farm animals, they are deadly diseases, and then you have to be very, very careful. I want to believe you have gained one or two things from this class today, and from your Google class, your notes, your tags, you have more explanation on this. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you.